Welcome to Love Truth Leadership, where today we're tackling the massive influence of social media across all ages. We're diving into how it shapes our self-esteem, mental health, and connections in a world where digital interactions are as common as real-life ones. Join us as we navigate the digital landscape, seeking ways to engage with love and integrity. Tune in for an enlightening journey on navigating social media's impact right here and right now.
I'm Larry.
Welcome back, Larry. You just went on that trip, and I'm super grateful to have you back to be in the shop with me recording an episode, and then to be here to continue to be my guide and mentor. It's not like you stopped when you were gone, but still, I missed you. It's been a couple of weeks that I'm like, man, I wish Larry was here for this.
Well, it's good to be back. I'm glad I'm back in the saddle.
Yeah, heck yeah. Me too.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Since I'm a cyclist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed my cycles.
Yeah. Give me one thing that was very memorable to you on your trip.
The people.
The people.
Oh, yeah, by far. I mean, we saw a lot of cool things. I saw beaches that I've never seen before. It's like almost like a white powder. I mean, it's unbelievable. But anyway, it was mainly the people. That's how gracious they were. Just very down to earth, humble, and very respectful.
Yeah, you sent me a picture that looked like it was a painting, with the sun coming up over that rock, and
right.
Yeah, man, it was gorgeous, and I was a little envious. That's for sure. I imagine that was a sunrise that you were taking a picture of, and it was quite beautiful. But before we get into today's subject, I'm going to read something for you guys. I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper or your heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Half the things you do, you might just as well turn over to me. I will be able to do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of all great men, and alas, of all great failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made them failures. I am not a machine, though I work with the precision of a machine, plus the intelligence of a man. You may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will put your world at your feet, and I will put the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? I am habit. And that's a really powerful poem there. And it leads into our subject very well today, because we have this habit that a lot of us are developing, especially with the power that we carry in our cell phones of social media. And we fall into a habit of, falling into being on social media quite regularly. And the effect it currently has on our lives is pretty strong. What do you think about that, Larry? I mean,
yeah, very much so. I mean, I feel fortunate I didn't grow up with that. I grew up in the era that there was only one phone per household. Actually, that was a regulation by the phone company, and you didn't own the phone. The Bell company did. You were leasing it.
Wow. Okay.
Very early on, we had party lines. That means someone could pick up and listen to what you said. But anyway, and then over the years, and then we've come out with a cell phone, and I'm seeing now that that's replacing what I consider meaningful human connection.
Mm-hmm.
people think they get that connection, but I think that connection leaves, we were just talking about, it leaves a loneliness and more depression.
Yeah.
It doesn't fill a void. It fills it temporarily with a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
But you don't get that long-lasting joy out of it like you would think you would. And it becomes very addictive for people, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's very true. And there's many studies that have been done on social media and the impact, especially on the impact on youth. And you have a lot of youth who use social media starting at a very early age, or actually start using cell phones at a very, very early age. And they come into life with this addiction to, a screen. And you see kids that are on these tablets all the time, and they're used as a pacifier, and they don't know how to act in a social setting without it. Right. They rather be happier, just looking at something and getting all these, short forms of entertainment, watching these videos that aren't even 30 seconds long. And you can't even get them to sit down and watch a movie, because it's not 30 seconds long. They've lost interest in the movie, 10 minutes into it. So it's one of those things. And I'm grateful for the families, because I do associate with a few families who really regulate, the use of their children, or letting their children use, a tablet or a phone or something like that, and they don't even let them have it. And you can tell the difference between those kids and the kids who have it all the time. It's a huge deal, and it's creating this this dilemma. It's one of those things where we live in a day and age where it's taken over. And I know I was reading the other day about the government's actually starting to take a step in, and they're regulating, Facebook and, or trying to at least, Meta, Facebook and Instagram. And I don't know what the bill that they're trying to do, but they're starting to recognize the impact that it's having on youth, and there's a lot of things that go with it. Like cyberbullying,
FOMO, is that what they call it?
Yeah, FOMO. You feel like you're missing out. That your life isn't good enough. You're comparing yourself to other people, and you're envious of what they have, and it's taking away 100% of being grateful for what you have, and you're trying to compare yourself to some other person. And don't get me wrong, I fall into this trap too. I look at my Instagram isn't filled with, the normal set of what people follow on Instagram. I have a Facebook, but I don't have it on my phone. But I sit there and look at all these dudes who are in mad shape, and I beat myself up because I'm not in that mad shape. I'm not in as good a shape as they are.
Well, it's interesting because people post the best of themselves on the Facebook.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm at this place having fun, or I look this way. And everybody thinks, oh my gosh, I want that life.
And it's just the one moment that they have throughout the whole day, right? That they're posting, and it's whether or not is their whole day that good, right? And then they're sitting there after they post that thing. They're like, okay, how many likes can I get on this? How many likes can I get? How many likes can I get? I had a recent thing happen where I had made a comment on this post, and it got like 4,000 likes, and I'm like, wow, like, okay, cool. And I mean, it was like a pat on the back, like what I have to say actually matters, kind of thing. Whenever I shouldn't need that for myself. I know what I say matters because I consider myself somewhat of an intelligent person and somewhat of an influential person. And I need to have that recognition. No, that's not something that I need to have. I need to have that recognition in the relationships that I build with people, and the recognition in the fact that I can take instead of putting this on Instagram, I can say it to somebody that I interact with throughout the day or something like that, so it's one of those things where we're not, just to give you guys an example, we're not all free from it. I I fall into the trap as well. And it's hard. It's a hard trap to escape because it's all about that instant gratification, that dopamine hit that we get. And, I set a timer on my phone on Instagram and I still like tell it to ignore it for 15 minutes. Let me scroll for another 15 minutes.
It's amazing when you get scrolling, all of a sudden whole hour's gone by and I don't know what it is, but the time elapses much faster.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you sit there and go, wow, was I on that for an hour and a half? But I remember I got cut into TikTok years ago, and they have algorithms that when you pause and see certain things, they go, oh, this is what this person wants to see.
Yeah.
And so I started seeing more of the same stuff. I go, well, how do they know that? Like right now, if I do look at anything, they know I'm a cyclist. So guess what? It shows up?
Yeah.
It's all the cycling.
Man, and it's all this data collection that our phone does, and it's we have the power to tell it to, because every time you download an app, especially with iPhone, you can say, don't allow it to track what goes on in other apps. So it doesn't do that, that program advertising for you.
Right.
So it's a little bit more freeing, but it's one of those things where at the same time, it still knows. And, I don't know if it's serendipitous, but every once in a while I'll be sitting here talking about something with the guys at work and we'll be like, well, look it up, what's the actual stat on this or whatever. And I type the first few words into my phone, like the first 3 letters of what we're going to look up. And the next recommended sentence is what we were just talking about.
Yeah. I wanted that too. Cause I sometimes will talk to someone and I go to a feed. I go, what the heck?
Yeah. So
was it listening to me or what?
I think they are. Yeah. And it's, you allow Google to use your microphone, right? So it's one of those things where I think it's constantly, especially if it's running in the background, it's going, okay, let's pick up tidbits of what they're discussing so I can predict what they need to have, And then we have this new thing with AI, which is, granted, I'm a very big user of ChatGPT and it's something that is hugely beneficial to use. Because it, instead of doing hours of work scrolling the internet for research, and topics like that, I can type into ChatGPT what I want to research, and it'll point me to articles that have been written and all kinds of stuff. And I can say, okay, well, give me the full article, and then you can read the full article right off of ChatGPT, and it does, the browsing that you would do that would take you 15 minutes to do, it does it in seconds, and which is hugely advantageous. And social media can be used as if it's used correctly, right? It can be used as an advantageous kind of thing, but you also have to have that balance, and know whenever it's starting to get to be too much. And where I'm grateful is in my social media, I've taken and gotten rid of all the stuff that leaves me comparing to other people and stuff like that. I've gotten rid of it, and I fill it with positive things and self-motivation and all that kind of stuff. So it's all tailored to how I want to live my life. But I still fall into the whole thing. Okay, well, that was an awesome quote. Let me see if I can find another one, and just keep going with it. And then next thing you know, I see a product because I'm watching a video that has to deal about health and hydration. And then the next ad that comes up on my Instagram feed is some kind of special water bottle, and it's just okay, come on, and then I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool. And that has to deal with the video that I just watched. Let me see about this product, so it's all intertwined with consumerism and then keeping us scrolling. Right. And it gets insane. So we have this plan, Larry, right? You and I both have, or I'm still lax in it. You have a little bit more control over your use of social media. We still see the impact that it has on people. And so the next few episodes that we want to do, we want to get into discussing a little bit, very much in detail on social media and the impact that it has on the youth today, because it's one of those things where I feel like they're more susceptible to it than somebody who's 40 years old.
Yeah, and it almost feels like now that the parent is allowing that to be the babysitter.
Oh, yeah.
Kid. You know, they're just going to be focused on that. So I can go do whatever I want.
Well, yeah, let me give my kid the tablet so I can scroll endlessly and not be interrupted.
Yeah, so I can go do my social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the parents are hooked on it too. But,
yeah.
So.
And we're just touching on a small side of it. There's, like I said before, there's the FOMO, the cyberbullying, the like shaping identity and self-esteem, and the link between sleep and social media and stuff like that, because you sit there and compare yourself, or you're doing late night scrolling on your phone, and either you're comparing yourself and you're sitting there like in guilt and envy because I'm not like this person that I envy on social media, or you're staying, scrolling on your phone whenever you're in bed. And not only are you having the blue screen effect, which has an effect on keeping your brain awake, because it's represented, it's the same UV wavelength as the sun, basically, right? So the sun is connected to our brain to keep us awake. So you're getting that same light effect from your phone. But two, you're just like you said before, you're losing track of time, just scrolling on your phone. And then the next thing you know, it's 1 a.m. and you've been scrolling for 2 hours, and you're like, oh shoot, I really need to go to bed. And then you set your phone away, but your brain's still awake. So, and then
now you're up till 3.
Yeah. And not everybody's like me, where if their head hits the pillow, they just are out. I feel very lucky in that aspect, because if I just lay my head down and close my eyes, that's all it takes for me to go to sleep. And a lot of people don't have that.
We were talking about scrolling. I go to YouTube probably more than anything else. I don't do Facebook much or Instagram, but I do YouTube because I like to listen to TED Talks or church talks or uplifting talks.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have my algorithm. And so what happens is on my feed is uplifting stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mainly it's either that or cycling. That's the two primary things that are coming through my feed.
So you're using it in a little bit of a more beneficial way.
Yeah, I try to listen to stuff that's uplifting, stuff that helps me out in life. And so that way it works pretty good. But that's primarily what the feed gives me. And
yeah, which is, so like I said before, it's how you use it. And a lot of it today also is to sell sex, which is crazy. And, you have a lot of girls on Instagram who post,
give me a like for my birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I don't know how it works, but I'm sure if you stay on that, it'll ship more of the same thing.
Yeah, right? 100%. And then next thing you know, you're getting a link. You can click on their profile, and then they're like, "Oh, my exclusive link is here." And so you can see naked pictures of me.
So
and
now
stuff.
You're just going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, 100%. And so that's the whole thing. Another thing, so that leads into a lot of pornography use and stuff like that as well, especially among young men who fall into this trap. And then with today's society and how young guys are taught to be, we fall into it hardcore, as far as like, let me give this girl $5 a month, so I can see pictures of her. Right. And
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
I've never gotten.
Yeah. And it's crazy. And, I was reading somewhere that, I saw it on a Joe Rogan podcast. Instagram made OnlyFans made $2.2 billion last year. And that's
Instagram?
No, OnlyFans, which is like a porn website.
Oh.
Yeah. 2.2 billion.
Whoa.
Yeah. Which is, that's insane, that we're spending this much money on, again, a short dopamine release. And then after that, we have this feeling of emptiness, right? And so we want to fill that emptiness again. And so we just come back to using it again and again and again, because we're not building a connection with anyone. We're just getting a short-term gratification, which all has to do with social media.
It's interesting. There's Brene Brown, who originally I was introduced on a TED Talk, and she's written some books. The first one was Daring Greatly, and she talks a lot about guilt and shame, where guilt is generated, I did something bad. Shame is, I am bad.
Yeah.
And they're both damaging, but particularly the shame part is, I am bad. And that goes back to that comparison.
Yeah.
And they're finding that social media is not only generating a lot of loneliness and depression, but it also leads to people taking their lives because they go down this rabbit hole and it gets so addictive, and then they can't feel they get out of it. And then depression gets worse and worse. And then the shame kicks in and they don't seek help. They don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And to the point where they feel so discouraged, they feel hopeless. And once they feel hopeless, and then that leads to the suicides.
Yeah, which is the world we live in is crazy, and it's so complex now, and there's so many factors that lead to our mental health deterioration and I've been there. I mean, I'm lucky enough to where I've been aware of where I've been and where I want to go and where my mind state is and what I need to do to keep on top of myself to get out of this.
Get out of that.
And a lot of people don't have that awareness and don't see the effect of their habits that they have on their day-to-day life.
I didn't know this, but there's a thing that tracks your screen time on your phone.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I remember I was coaching a young man who was struggling. And I said, I want you track your screen time. And he came back. He said, he didn't know he had 78 hours. He was averaging almost 80 hours a week screen time.
That's insane.
And he was wondering why he was struggling with depression and everything. So I said, well, you got to make up your mind how much you're going to restrict your,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think sometimes we need a fast. You know how you fast for food?
Oh, yeah.
Fast them. I swear, I don't know if some people could put a phone away for a couple hours, let alone a day.
We all need to go camping where we don't have
no
cell
phone,
service.
No cell service. And see, problem is I think people would go through withdrawals.
Oh, man,
where's that phone, man?
And I know.
I need my fix.
Yeah, and it's I would myself. I think I would too.
It would be tough.
Yeah, it really would. That instant connection that we feel like we have, right? But really, because I grew up in an era too where the phone was on the wall with the long cord, and if you want to make a phone call and you're crushing on this girl and she says she's going to call you, so you sit by the phone all day waiting for her to call, and all that kind of stuff, right? And now
it's all digital.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure people ask people they'd probably text. Hey.
And so it's instantaneous, and then the phone is like, okay, cool. So I have an instant way to communicate with this person, so I should have instant access. And that's something that a lot of us really have a hard time dealing with.
So what's a good way of people getting out of these cycles? I guess the first thing is what you said is awareness.
Yeah.
That they have a problem and they got to first acknowledge it. Do they need to get an action partner or someone to be accountable?
That would help. But at the same time, I really feel like just deleting those social media apps and having self-control.
And just getting out of it. A lot of my relatives years ago on Facebook, they were all on it, and most all of them now, they're off. They said they just deleted the app.
Yeah.
Because they found they were getting sucked into it.
Yeah. And I'm going to struggle with it, but I think today I'm deleting Instagram. I have to access it for the podcast, and I've been super I haven't been posting anything for the podcast because it's difficult, and it's one of those things where coming up with content and all that kind of stuff is tough. But that's the only thing that I would really need to keep it for. And then I can just use my computer, and I don't have my computer with me 24/7. It's at my house.
Oh, yeah. So if you take it off the phone, you won't.
Exactly. So I think that's the way, Yeah, you guys, I just want you to know today Nick is deleting Instagram off his phone. and then you'll see me be like, I'll look for it, I'll pick up my phone and like, all right, cool. I've got 10 minutes at work where I don't need to do anything. Let's check out what's going on Instagram. And then next thing I'm like,
I'm in that rabbit hole.
All right, cool. It only takes me, a few seconds to re-download it. Let's just download it again, right? No, I'm not going to do that. I promise. All right, so a few ways that social media can significantly impact youth and contribute to depression in several ways. And then especially for parents today and educators, it's understanding these mechanisms is hugely beneficial. And it's to help mitigate the negative outcomes and support young people's mental health. Comparison and envy. Social media platforms are filled with curated, edited highlights of others' lives. The key word there is edited highlights, leading to unrealistic benchmarks for personal success, beauty, and lifestyle. They only post they want you to see. They don't post a failure. They only post how successful they are, even though it's 1 out of 1,000,000, right? And then constant comparison can make young individuals feel inadequate and dissatisfied with their own lives, contributing to low self-esteem and depression. And then this is one that I feel like is something that I didn't have to deal with whenever I was a kid, because bullying was done face to face. Cyberbullying and harassment. The anonymity and reach of social media facilitates cyberbullying and harassment. Victims of online bullying are at higher risk of developing depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. And there's even been recorded cases of people committing suicide to online bullying and harassment. Social isolation. While social media can provide a platform for connecting with others, excessive use can lead to social isolation. Young people might spend more time online than engaging in face-to-face interactions, weakening real-life social bonds and increasing feelings of loneliness and depression. Sleep disruption. The overuse of social media, especially before bedtime, can interfere with sleep patterns. The blue light from the screen can disrupt the circadian rhythm, and the mental stimulation from social media content can make it harder to fall asleep. Poor sleep is closely linked to depression. And like I said before, I'm super lucky that I don't get poor sleep. What I get is too much of it. FOMO, fear of missing out. Social media consistently exposes users to updates and events that they are not part of, leading to FOMO. This can cause feelings of exclusion and anxiety, which may contribute to depressive symptoms. Overwhelming information and negative content. The vast amounts of information and often negative content, e.g. news about global crisis or personal tragedies on social media, can be overwhelming and contribute to feelings of sadness, anxiety, and helplessness. Identity and self-esteem issues. Adolescence and young adulthood are critical periods for identity development. The pressure to maintain a certain image on social media can lead to identity confusion and reliance on external validation for self-esteem, which are linked to higher levels of depression. And that's something that I've really made like an observation of, is kids these days really, really have identity issues. Like, they don't know who they are. They don't know if they're boy or girl. It's one of those things where it's just insane how much they're lacking in identity with themselves. Reduce physical activity. Excessive time spent on social media can lead to a sedentary lifestyle, reducing engagement in physical activity. Exercise is important for mental health, and its lack can increase the risk of depression. And I can attest to this 100%. I've talked about doing my savers, and the one thing that I haven't been doing was the exercise part of the savers. I started incorporating that into the whole savers routine, and I almost feel like I don't need to do the rest of the savers. All I need to do is the exercise part. And while I'm doing the exercise, I'm affirming myself like I'm a strong person. I can keep going with this exercise and blah, blah. And when I'm done, I'm like, man, like, God, I feel good, right now. Like I really enjoy this feeling that I have from after I'm done exercising, even though I hurt and I'm sore, and especially riding my bike again, my butt is just like killing me. And, but at the same time, whenever I'm done, like, man, way to go. I really feel good with myself. Addiction and dependency. Social media platforms are designed to be addictive, and their excessive use can lead to the dependency. This dependency can negatively impact mental health, leading to anxiety and depression. I'm going to reread this. This dependency can negatively impact mental health, leading to anxiety and depression when access is limited or when interactions are not expected. And then the last one is impact on academic performance. Excessive social media use can distract from academic responsibilities, leading to poor performance and heightened stress. This academic stress can contribute to feelings of inadequacy and depression. And so, addressing these impacts of the social media on youth really requires the most an approach from many angles. Like education on digital literacy, knowing when something's real or fake, whenever, it's full of facts, or that Instagram model that you're following is either an AI Instagram model, which we'll talk about later on, Larry, because I saw this whole thing done, and it's insane. And then fostering open conversations about online experiences. And promoting healthy online habits. Is not to say that all social media is bad, but its overuse can be bad. It's like Larry and I, gave our examples, and I use mine in a little bit of a less healthier way because I'm constantly looking at it, but we both use it for motivational purposes. And I use a lot of exercise and weightlifting, Instagram pages or accounts. But at the same time, if you overuse that stuff, it's still unhealthy. It doesn't matter that you're getting a motivation from it. It's the overuse of it. Okay, I just read that motivational quote. Let me find another one. So you're scrolling for another 15 minutes to find another motivational quote that feeds you, and stuff like that. So encouraging young people to engage in offline activities and build strong real life relationships is also crucial for mitigation. And I'm going to reread this again too. Encouraging young people to engage in offline activities and build strong real life relationships is also crucial for mitigating the potential negative aspects of social media on their mental health. So that being said, I think we're going to break into social media for the next few episodes. I really want to get somebody who's a little bit more of an expert in the mental health field to bring in to talk about this. So that person is not known yet, but I really feel like that's going to be something that's hugely positive for us.
I think so.
And yeah, it's a big subject to discuss. And what we've gone over today is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to break all those subjects that I read. We're going to break into each one of those, and I think have an episode on each.
And then give people who are hearing this some viable solutions.
Yeah, for sure. Give you guys some good ways to really break this habit. This isn't just for youth either. It's for everyone. I personally, I know I have a problem with it. I know my mom has a problem with it, and she's 70 something years old. She's constantly on Facebook. And the worst part about her scrolling is she does all those quizzes that are just information collectors, and it's just like, okay, so you told it your birthday and, all this other stuff. Like, it's just collecting information on you, and it put it in a form of a quiz. Like, come on, that's all it is. And but it's fun for her. It's something to pass the time because she's retired and doesn't have anything else to do and stuff. And it's just, but still, I think a lot of us are in the whole, like, I don't have anything else to do, anything else that's healthy to do. So let me get onto social media and let me get my dopamine hit. And then, oh wait, I've just got done spending an hour and a half scrolling TikTok reels. Where did my time go that I could have went outside and connected with nature, or done a hobby that brings me actual real gratification,
or pay it forward, or helping someone else.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is a big subject, and I really feel like, Larry, this is something that we need to have a longer discussion on.
Good.
And so you guys get ready to dive in with us for quite a while on the impact of social media on today's society, not just youth, but today's society with a focus on youth. So thank you for listening today. I'm Nick.
I'm Larry.
And this is the LTL Show.
Have a grateful day.
There we go. That's all for today's insightful look into the impact of social media across generations. Yet our dialogue doesn't stop there. Join us next time as we delve into the intriguing relationship between social media and dopamine. Why are we so drawn to those notifications and likes? We'll investigate the allure of digital engagement and its effect on our minds, focusing on real experiences and the science behind them. Tune into the next episode of Love Truth Leadership as we continue to discuss the digital landscape that shapes our interactions and self-perception. Embark on this journey with us as we strive for deeper understanding and better navigation of our online lives. Remember, leadership is not just a title, but the profound expression of the love and truth you bring into the world. And as always, Larry and I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for listening.